Right, I think that's YouTube fixed. The title's wrong on YouTube, but at least it's gone live this time. Just at starting, for those that have maybe dropped out and joined back in. YouTube just didn't go live. So let's just test all the chats working. Yeah, there we go. I think everything should be up and running again. Let's try again. I don't think I can edit the YouTube live title while it's running either, maybe. No, got no idea where to edit the name on the YouTube. So YouTube's just got the wrong title on the stream, but at least it's streaming now. And that's one gutted. We're going to take off. I'm going to start taking off these transformers as well, because we can actually use these in PC Engine GTs. So I'm going to start harvesting these off the Game Gears. And the weight of these basically means you pretty much warm them up from here and they'll fall out because they're obviously heavy transformers. Do I ever sleep? Yeah, I do. I've gone and chilled. I've knocked off a few hours ago. After the last stream, I was doing these re-PCBs. Funnily enough, right after I finished that stream, I got the other one working. I just got a couple of shorts on the VDP. Wasn't paying attention. So we got both of them working. And then I just knocked off, went chill. Watched a few episodes of House, and then realised how early it was. I thought it was later than that. So then after I've watched like 2 episodes of House, I was like, I'll go do a bit more work now. I'm refreshed. So I'm only going to do an hour or so because Rusty's waiting for me. But yeah, I just work on and off as I want to, basically. Oh, the inductor was trying to fall off, but the phone holder was actually stopping it. Oh. There we go, that's that piece. And then we'll get the connector off as well. So for the connector, I'll just do max air temperature and these grippers. And we don't care about the board, obviously, because we're harvesting the chips. So that's why we're just being brutal with them, because we literally don't need the PCBs. We just want to get the components off. No. And now we'll turn this back down to 480 and 80% airspeed. Putting the chips back on the other board. Hey, welcome in from Brazil. Oh yeah, the PC is yeah, pretty ridiculous. I think that's everything we need off this. So I used to build them. Pretty much every PC I had I used to build, but I've recently been buying some from, of all places, Curry's from PC World. They've actually really upped the game in terms of PC builds. So I tend to buy, say, one of their top-end ones as a starting point, and then upgrade the CPU or graphics or whatever I need as I go. So this one's actually a heavily modified Curry's maxed out one, but I've got like I don't know if this PC's also got a 1499K in or just my other one, but either way it can handle the stream nicely. Right, so I've got a big wad of re-PCBs there. We're going to just start by attempting to transfer these over. I know I said in the last stream that I'll probably get a working re-PCB and then swap chips over, but right after that stream, I noticed I just basically messed up some soldering on the second one and we had bad luck on the first. So I think it was like making me doubt the process, whereas really I think I just wasn't paying a huge amount of attention to me soldering, too involved in chatting away and not focusing enough on my soldering. So I'm going to lock in on this one and really pay attention and go through. I always say I make the steps for everybody else to follow, but for exactly what to do to get it right. And then I come on and don't follow my own steps. So if I follow exactly the steps I made for myself, then I probably won't mess up. So I think it's just a bit of lack of attention on the last one. Wasn't paying enough attention to the soldering. I was, again, a bit too confident, I think, while I was talking away. This is a business, so obviously called Retro 6. We do it full time. I also do software and a bit of house bashing, so flipping houses. But this is an all day, every day job. I just wake up early and do all the other things as well and take days off. So split my time between whatever I need to do. But this is mainly the passion business. This is the one I enjoy. Well, I enjoy, to be honest, I enjoy all of them. But this is the one I'm currently enjoying the most at the minute. I think it's mainly just helping with doing the live streams as well. Seeing people that are also excited about it and like watching it. It makes you a little bit more excited about what you do, as opposed to sitting in a room on your own and talking to nobody, basically. I'm going to try and keep using that little fan to move all the solder fumes out of the way, because I get told off all the time for it and I should be doing it more. I'm also trying to put these blue cloths down to just save the silicon mat a bit. Try and not get the silicon matters covered in flux all the time. Is that a coating? Are we referring to the flux? This is to help the solder flow, this stuff here. And obviously the silver stuff we've just put down is leaded flux. Leaded solder for obviously attaching the chips back to the board. So now we're going to hot air the chip we took off the green board, which is this one, onto the white board basically. So for those of you that don't know what we're doing, we're basically rescuing Game Gears. So the old handheld consoles, we are taking the chips off the consoles that no longer work, putting them on this circuit board I've designed. This is the white board you're looking at. and then we get, usually at the end of it, we get working Game Gears out of it. That's the goal. This channel, I mainly repair retro consoles and computers. That's pretty much what we do. We also build them, so you'll see me building like PlayStation 1s maxed out, Neo Geos, Amiga computers, SNESs, you name it. We build them for customers who buy them, and we also repair customers' consoles who send them in. What SAMP? SAMP is sample, so it's a pin on what you might call the CPU of the Game Gear, so the heart of the Game Gear. It's actually called an ASIC, an application-specific integrated circuit, which just basically means it's a microchip made specifically for Sega, specifically for the Game Gear. So it just means that the chip is literally designed only for that application. It's been engineered that way, and that's what ASICs typically are. Well, that's what they basically are. So the SAMP pin, it means sample, and it's I can only presume it's a test put output. So when Sega were assembling these and then testing them on the bench, I presume they outputted a sample waveform, either for clocking purposes when they're debugging, or as a kind of feedback to let the test programs know that things were running. So this is just a standard Z80, so it's a Z80 MPU. This isn't specific to the Game Gear. But then when we go over here, these two are specific to the Game Gear. So this one is the CPU, obviously labeled. We've just taken it off the original Game Gear, and that's here. And this thing outputs a sample pin here. It's good for, like I say, debugging and figuring out problems. So I've wrote a load of articles on retro6.wiki explaining exactly how you check if this CPU that I've put on backwards is operating. And one of the tests is to check if the SAMP is outputting a certain frequency pulse. So I've made a test point on ours. So when you transfer it over, you can also do that same test if you need to. So that's lined up. We'll now put some flux over this. And hopefully, because I'm paying a bit more attention, we shouldn't have as much issue with these ones as we did with the last few. The pins will pull into position so much, but on this one specifically, the CPU, you want to align it fairly accurately, just because the pin pitch, the gap between the pins is a bit finer, and you'll find that if you misalign it too much, when it jumps into position, it'll bridge multiple pins. It's not a big problem, but then you have to go back and touch up with an iron, basically. So aligning the CPU first is the best approach. Sometimes you'll find this will just jump out of position as you're soldering as well, so we might not get away with it. But the only one I bother really aligning massively is the CPU. And then give this another 5 seconds, and once it starts all flowing evenly, I'll push down on the chip. So now I'll push down firm and reflow. And that's it. So I did make a tutorial and a guide on doing this. And if you follow those exact steps like I've just done, you'll get nice solder joints. Whereas, like I say, on the last stream, I was kind of ignoring it and just going my own way and not concentrating on timings and things, and it didn't go as well. You can see these pins are all nicely soldered. I don't even need to zoom in to check them. You can see from there that they're good. And then all the yellow is the flux we're cleaning off. Which, the cool thing about this flux is, if I turn on this little extractor fan I've got on a UV light, you can see the UV actually shows where the flux still is. So if I got this flux, you can see it glows bright blue. So if I put it all on the VDP, it basically shows you easily where you need to clean up. So that's good for, to be honest, it's a bit more distracting than anything, because now I know the flux does it. I get a bit obsessed with constantly cleaning the board, more than it needs to be for now. We can always clean the board at the end when we're done. So now the second one, or the third one rather, is the VDP. Yeah, this channel should actually be about Rusty getting his treats. We may turn it into that. Right, I've got so much flux on my hands from cleaning up before I started. I keep wiping it back onto the tweezers. This board, I'll zoom out so you can see. This board's a re-PCB, and basically it's a remake of this, which is the original Game Gear PCB. So you can see it's basically not a one-for-one replica in a sense. It's made to work with our clean screen, which is a modern screen, but it replaces, say, this board, which all these are that I've got today. All these boards don't work. They've had diagnostics on them. Some of them have. They've had recaps and things, but basically they're unknown or not working boards. We rob the critical components off, the things that make it a Game Gear, the CPU, the video processor, and another microprocessor, and we put them on my board. Obviously, the Game Gear looks like this before you open it up. So this is ultimately what we're doing. We are making new Game Gears. That's what we do as part of the business. We do them. Like, one of the most popular things we do is build Game Gears. I put a sale on, and we've sold a ton more, so hence I'm having to build all of these up now. So again, let's make sure I pay attention doing this. We want, that should be enough flux for the minute. We will want 1 minute high up, and then 20 seconds low before we push down. Mega Drive that won't power up. It won't power up without a game, fairly obviously. Have you done the basic things, checking if the power LED isn't coming on? It might just be a bad LED. But measure with a multimeter to check you've actually got 5 volts. If you've got 5 volts, do you actually have an LED? You know, when you're saying you've got no power, give us a bit more info basically. Is it just no video or no power light, or have you measured voltage, things like that? Oh god, yeah. For those of you that don't know, the VDPs are literally 50-50. Basically, it's like waking up next to your wife. You're not sure what you're going to get in the morning, whether it's going to be good to you or abuse you all day. So the VDP, if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to be this thing. So we have to treat these with respect and honour them in order to get them a good fighting chance that's going to work for us. Right, so now it's nearly a minute. I'm going to apply a little bit of extra flux. And I'm going to go close in for about 10 seconds, and then we'll push down. There we go, it's a nice reflow. Sockets, quite a few people have mentioned that, using sockets on, you know, being able to put these in sockets. Sockets don't really exist for this specific size of chips. These are custom chips for Sega, so the package is specific to Sega for one, so they aren't a standard one. We'd have to make something. But yeah, it would be nice if we could come up with something where we don't have to solder them on the board before testing them, but that's just the way it is. So they all look okay. We can zoom in. I think we can zoom in. we can do a digital zoom, I guess, and you can see a bit more of the board. We've still got a bit of flux in between the pins. I'll always clean them off later, but we don't care about that for now. We want to get these things working. It's clean enough for what we need. They all look good. Cost of the board, I think £28, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. We just lowered the price because we started manufacturing even more of them, like in bigger batches, and we've got the price even lower. So I'm pretty sure this board's like £28. Crystal, I'm just going to put the original crystals on for now, to eliminate any possibility of our custom-made crystal being a problem. Plus, I only have about 6 or 7 left. Shipping to Mexico, only by DHL, but we've just sold a console to Mexico. But we don't do Royal Mail because 99% of everything that goes to Mexico by Royal Mail never gets anywhere, basically. And yes, I didn't mean to remove that resistor. That's literally what I was doing, for those of you that think maybe I knocked that resistor off. That was actually a purposeful swipe to take just that one off. This one doesn't need to come off. It's just, you can take it off, it makes no difference, but you don't need to remove this one. It was an error on the silk screen, basically. What are we doing? We are taking, I should probably just keep a Game Gear on the desk for now. And a motherboard maybe. So we're taking apart Game Gears like this that don't work, the old handheld consoles. This is the motherboard inside. So these are basically dead and not working, and we've diagnosed them so far that it's not worth diagnosing anymore. So we're taking off the hearts of the console, which are these 3 chips, putting them onto this board that I've designed, and getting them working again is what we're doing. I'll try and keep them up there, so when the next person asks that, I can answer it a bit quicker. I don't know where all this flux is coming from. My hands are constantly covered in flux. I mean, I know it's coming from the flux, but... right then. So, is this one good to test? We've got the crystal on, the resistor removed, the 3 items on. Yes, that's good to go. So, ribbons. So these are for the screen, and we'll need these in order to see anything. So we'll connect the ribbons up. And the screen I'm using is a test screen. We have liquid damage on it, so we just use it as a test screen. So if this works and you see some funky wet liquid on this, that's why. It's not the Game Gear, it's just the screen. And then, of course, we need the game. So we've got Sonic. This is also another thing I've made, the cartridge connector. So this replaces the original cartridge connector on the back of the Game Gear. Otherwise, you'd also have to take all of this off as well, which takes ages. You have to cut 2 rivets either side. You have to remove the screen out your way, which, if we get this thing out of the way, you're not really going to see under there, to be honest. I'm just going to cut the ribbon to show you. If I take the screws out, you'll see. Actually, no, I'm not going to bother. Basically, there's pins under there that obviously all these cartridge pins connect to. You have to desolder all them, remove this, solder it all in, and even then the pins can be bad. So I made this, which is the only one in the world, a replacement cartridge connector for the Game Gear. Nobody's managed to clone this yet, luckily, because it was quite an engineering challenge, to be honest. In many ways, not only just the physical fitment, but the part sourcing, the whole idea of the mechanical engineering of this thing was quite complicated, and I'm quite proud of it. That's why nobody's cloned it yet, and it's been out for, I'd say, about 4 years. So this now means we can just plug in a cartridge connector with a ribbon like the screen. So that's the game and the screen can just both connect with ribbons and no soldering. So now, if the VDP gods have been good to us, we are going to get a booted Game Gear first time. Let's put the audio in as well. Fingers crossed. Everything is covered in flux. Somebody's been in this room and just covered all my stuff in flux. Everything's sticky. It's either that or I was that sticky on the last stream. I've just gone around grabbing everything and covering it in flux. Right, now, let's go. Oh, it's a bloody bad VDP. Why? VDP bad again. Unbelievable. So, good in one way, but oh look, a bad VDP. It's like all the time. This is so crazy. I mean, there's slight hope if I'm pushing on the VDP. Nah, there isn't hope, is there really? Just another bad VDP. Yeah, for those of you that have not seen, this is pretty much what happens on... Let's take the audio out. This is what happens pretty much any time it doesn't work. And you see this kind of... let's just reset that. You see this exact pattern and noise, or very similar to this pattern. It's always this VDP. And it must just be... bear in mind, all of these Game Gears have got their 2 chips. Or non-working ones, things that people can't get up and running. So probably, if the original screens saw this data, they probably just wouldn't display anything. But because this is my clean screen, and we read the raw data, we're probably just dumping whatever's on the screen regardless, and even though it's technically all corrupt, we show it. But yeah, this is 100% going to be the VDP. It always is. We do have one from the last stream that I think is also dead, but let's just confirm this is dead for sure before we bin it, because... this is that one's definitely dead, but let's just swap it over and confirm the other one is dead. So he's a definite no-go, and we might have guessed it. VDP, it always is. And now let's take this one off, put another one on, but at least we know, at least everything about the system's working. So at least one good thing is when you see the error with the VDP, we know exactly what it is, and we know all we've got to do is get a working VDP. So in one way, it's good because everything else about that board is tested fine now. Yeah, have you tried the Stereo? Which one did you go for? I've obviously, I don't know whether when I recommended it, I was still on the V3, or whether I was on this stuff now, the Stereo HTTF. That's my new favourite at the minute. That's what I'm using now. How much our consoles? They range from about, there's flash sales at the minute, and they're on for like 180, but they go from anywhere from off sale, they're around 200 to 300, depending on upgrades. So you can get all different variants depending on how much you want to spend really, and how many mods you want in there. Yeah, everything you see here, all the whiteboards, all the power boards, all the connectors, entirely designed by me. There's nobody else involved in any product that's got Retro 6 on. That's, whether it's a shell, a screen, a glass lens, a hardware product, it's me that's designed them. There's nobody else in the world that designs Retro 6 stuff. There's no outsourcing, there's no somebody else doing part of it. If it's got the Retro 6 logo on, it's me that's designed it, basically. So that's him down. Right, we've got this other VDP, which I actually suspect is bad anyway. So we might just be putting another bad one on, because we had this one on stream earlier today, and we had a whole host of issues. It turned out to be the game slot, this actual game slot, the first one I've ever seen, that was causing the fault. But in between that, before we found that issue, we did actually briefly get some display on screen that looked like VDP issues, but that might have just been coincidence because the game slot was bad. So I want to put this one on as well and really double check, basically. Why is it wet? This is just the flux that we apply. So we're applying all this stuff to get the solder to flow, and then we clean it up after with pure alcohol, and then the board's dry, obviously, once we power it up. Flux isn't conductive either, so this orange stuff isn't conductive, which means it's safe to turn on when this is on the board. and the IPA we use, the pure alcohol, also isn't conductive. So that's why basically there's no issues. And then you can see the yellow, so you know where it is. And then this is the UV light, if you're unsure where it is, that kind of highlights where you haven't cleaned. So obviously when we wipe it off and we think it's clean, we can always inspect with that to make sure we have cleaned it properly. Oh, I've just sprayed even more IPA on my IPA damaged screen. So just soaked this poor screen and even more IPA. But luckily it's a test screen, so he doesn't care. Alright, so that's on there. We might as well zoom this in a bit more as well, because the side angle is really just for seeing what's going on here. I'm going to wash my hands as well. I've got so much flux on. Let me just wash my hands while this is drying. 1 second. I've got a crying pug outside the door. Come here. You could come here, little whinger. So I did go to wash my hands, and then we have a little pug sitting outside. Right. Hey. Want a treat? Do we need the pug cam? Because everybody wants to see the pug cam. There we go. If you're new to this stream and you wonder what's going on, this is pretty much 50% of the channel. Feeding the pug. There you go. And now we should have good luck for the next game gear. That's the goal. Right then, let's see if we can get you in your bed. Otherwise, we get pestered. So, are we going in here? Or are you going to go in, eat it, and then come back out? Yeah. How many seconds do you reckon till he jumps out? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now he's making the decision. And there we go. So, if you hear noises, you know what it is. Let's bring the camera back around this way. So, if you're ever on stream and you hear barking, scratching, tapping, you'll hear tapping in a minute when he taps the chair for more food. Right, so this is cooled down. I've had plenty of time for that. So let's see if now this works. Nope, so that one will be, which we suspected anyway. The other one we suspected was a bad VDP. You can see this one is as well. So that's, the pattern's slightly different, but that's double checking that this one was faulty, which I did suspect. So not really a big surprise there. I kind of expected that, but you can see the pattern's ever so slightly different, but they all seem to exhibit this kind of half moon shape. They're almost always this half moon shape and this kind of line down here. It's always a very similar failure on them. So get all the rusty hairs off me, absolutely covered. I do have one VDP we've already taken off. So let's now put on, geez, how much hair have you got on you, Rusty? Oh, he's in his bed. So let's swap it for a third time. Put a cross on, but I always like to, if I'm not 100% sure a VDP is bad, I always like to double check. And with this one being on that Game Gear earlier, that was, you know, it had more than one issue. I wanted to double check before chucking away a VDP. So off we go again. Third time's a charm. I like your camera setup, thank you very much. Cost a lot of money and took a lot of time to set up, but it's nice to have. I don't think you can beat nice visuals when you're doing videos. It's one of the biggest pleasures is when I use this now to solder. I literally watch my stream, even the live stream. I'm watching basically a delayed stream to do the soldering work because it's that clear and sharp. And I've somehow got used to the solder delay, the stream delay. So I'm literally managing to do my work with like a half-second delay. That bug doesn't need feeding. Oh, he does. He loves food. He's I think he was 9.8 kilograms. So he's like, he's under the heaviest weight he should be, but we'll never get him back down to the slim weight. I don't think. He's a bit older, and he was a lot fatter before. In like 4 or 5, I think he got a lot fatter. So he does actually also have a lot of skin. As daft as it sounds, if you cuddle him, he's full of skin. He's just all like a cuddly bear. So he's not even as fat as he looks. He's got nice cuddly rolls, I like to say. And he's got no health issues whatsoever. No breathing issues, no health issues. Nothing. So he's a happy little pug. That's an old pug. Yeah, he's 11. That's the second dead one. And then we'll put this one on. Oh, that one's even. The solder was still molten and set in position, just placing this one down. Let's get him back up a minute. Let that cool a second. And then put this back on. And I don't think we'd be as unlucky as to get 3 VDPs that are bad. I just can't imagine it. I'm not going to bother aligning this one. It's doing me nothing. I'll push it into alignment when everything's liquefied. It does not want to sit on them solder balls. So let's just get this hot and then I'll nudge it in position and sort it out after. Yeah, basically use your dishwasher for cleaning it, as mentioned. If you want to clean your electronics, chuck them in the dishwasher. The only thing you've got to be aware of is anything like speakers or screens. Certain components you want to remove if you're going to chuck things in dishwashers, but other than that, that's what you can do. Right, I think we've got that now aligned, I want to say. There we go. So look how much of a mess that causes when you don't align the chip in the first place. So I still can't quite tell where we are in alignment, to be honest. I can't help but think we're like a pin out. Something's not adding up there. We're a pin on there, but I'm sure we're a pin out down there. Let me just check. I literally can't even see where we are with alignment on that one. Oh. What am I doing? That isn't a spare VDP. Someone's put it in the wrong box. We're trying to put a CPU on the VDP pad. I wondered what was going on. That's why it wouldn't line up. We've got a 7.8. This is the CPU. But it was put in, I'm not being crazy, it was put in the VDP tub. So let's take that off. That makes a lot more sense now. Trying to fit a chip on that's not even the right chip. So let's get this board cleaned, and then in that case we need now another Game Gear for the VDP. Yeah, chuck stuff in the dishwasher, one of the best cleanings you can do. Put everything in like normal, like you're going to wash the dishes. So literally put the soap in, put your motherboard in, wash it when it comes out, spray it with 99% IPA, and that'll remove any contaminants, and then you're good to go once it's dried off, and it will give you a better clean than an industrial grade ultrasonic cleaner. That sponge is now well and truly soaked, so let's get another one. And we're going to have to open up. Actually, have we got one? Oh, we got one here, haven't we? We'll take the VDP off this one then and give this a go. Actually, that will need a little bit of solder as well going on. Don't need to worry about the temperature of the dishwasher now. Not at all. It's a perfect temperature for cleaning. So gets up to what? Not even 100 degrees, 80, 90 degrees. Even if it got up to 180, all plastics are safe up to 180 on any kind of PCB due to the reflow. Most are safer up to much hotter temperatures. The only thing, like I say, is if you have any components on there that are sensitive to ingress, which is pretty much things like mounted speakers, which are rare, but they can be on certain things, LCD screens. But if you know what you're doing and you know what you're putting in the dishwasher, then yeah, you can do it all day long. How big are the screens? 3.5 inches these are. Clean power board on GBC, glad that's working for you. Cloning the chips, it's something if you clone them, you might as well emulate them almost, unless the one thing I wanted to do was literally hardware level clone the VDP, because it's always failing. So that would mean decapping the VDP itself, looking at all the transistors in there, and doing a one-for-one hardware clone. I am looking at doing that, but it's not looking like it's feasible. The sheer cost of doing it and the number of people that would buy it unfortunately makes it almost not worthwhile, really. So doable, yes, but then one, you're not technically using an original Game Gear, even if it was a one-for-one hardware clone. So it kind of takes a bit of the point out of what we sell. We like to sell, the only thing we sell is real original consoles. We don't do emulators. We don't sell any emulators. We don't really plan ever to. We're about the original hardware. So it's one of them. Yes, we could ideally do with doing a hardware perfect clone of things like the VDP, because they will run out one day and they're getting rarer and harder to find because we sell so many. But that's also part of the pleasure. I think you should treat it like the fact that it is a limited stock thing, and once these are gone, they're gone forever. You know, if you don't buy one now, in a few years there might not be any more Game Gears left for sale, and then you can never have these again. So it's part of the pleasure of it. Cyclone dishwasher, now I just chuck it in, press the button and go. So just a 50 degree, an 80 degree, anything does. Literally whatever you'd normally wash your dishes on, you just wash the board on. Yeah, this yellow stuff is flux. And you should see this chip pull into place slightly, because if you look at the top right pin, it's not quite on. If we're lucky, it'll pull down. If we're unlucky, it'll pull up, and we'll have to nudge it down and probably fix some bridges. So it's about to pull any minute now. Or it might not even pull at all, we might have to nudge it. Don't think it's going to pull, so we're going to have to nudge it down. Oh no, it's not hot enough yet somehow. I think this fan, the extractor fan's cooling the board down quite a bit, to be honest. Yeah, just nudge it in position. I'm tired of waiting for it to get pulled into position. Let's just put a bit more flux on. And I want to say this side wants tapping down slightly. Wow, I'm going to turn this extractor off. That is literally cooling the air that much. This should take like 30 seconds and it's taking like 2 minutes. I've never had it not want to move. There we go. That was one stubborn VDP. That took forever. Right, we're going to need to give this one some time to cool down. No, I don't think that wanted to pull. I think something like surface tension wasn't working in our favour then. So that was crazy. That was one of the hardest VDPs we've had to put down. They normally just flow in fine, and I'm waiting for it, and I'm like, nothing's moving. I don't know whether the extractor fan is pulling the hot air and cooling it, or obviously pulling fresh air past. But that took way, way, way longer, like twice as long as I'd have expected to flow. Let's move that down. Oh, there we go. So that took more cleaning up as well because the flux was burning. That was just yeah, I don't know what caused that to be so difficult to move. Let's just check under the microscope as well, because I want to just check. I think one pin's slightly bent, which we can just, I don't think it's touching anything. We've got that, I think, is just a bit of crap on the board. Yeah, I think that's just where a bit of plastic's melted. There's nothing shorted there. I think that's what my eyes were catching. I thought that was bent. Those pins are all slightly over to one side, but they're all, you can see, you can nudge them, they're solid. So we could go down, this is where, like, say here, you could go down every pin. It's kind of my wrong hand doing this, but yeah, this is literally back to front for me. I'd have to flip the board around. But you can basically touch on the pin and pull it to one side if you wanted to get it into position more. Like this, say. But it's you could also warm it back up and tilt the chip. But the fact that this took so damn long to get down this time, and I'm not sure why, I won't bother warming it back up for now. It's had plenty of heat. But I might as well just move them pins a bit more into line like that. And then we have down here, all them are good. And we shouldn't normally have to check this. We didn't obviously check the last one, but with how much trouble that's given us, we'll check. See, we actually got a little tiny bridge there. So to get the bridge off, super easy, just smallest amount of flux, tap on with the iron, and it's gone. Other than that, that's all fine. Let's check the CPU while we're here. But we know the CPU works because the game was loading, so there won't be any issues there. Yeah, they look floating, but they're not. So those pins actually they visually look a bit like they're floating, but they're rock solid. They're not going anywhere. So that's that good. So this is now the third VDP. We had bad luck with the first one. The second one I kind of knew was bad. It was bad on the last stream. I just wanted to double check that while we were at it. So the third one should give us what we're after, which is a working Game Gear. Let's check these are cooled. Yeah, cool enough. So what do we reckon? There's no way we've got 3 bad VDPs, is there? Are you joking? Okay, now I'm starting to suspect something odd. I mean, I've never ever seen this be anything but a VDP when you get these graphics glitches, but I mean, come on. This can't be. I mean, I say this and it can be. This literally can be this bad luck. So I have seen this where it's been 4 in a row, but that is crazy bad luck. But I do still stick to, I know what it is, and I'm confident that that's what it is. So I'm going to continue to swap VDPs. Because I know that's what it is, basically. I've seen it. And then once we do, when we swap it, and it works, you know that the rest of the system did work, and you were right, because swapping the VDP made it work, kind of thing. The modern screen doesn't work with the TV antennas now. The flux I use is called Styri. So it's the stuff, Styri HTTF is the best one I've found so far. This remade board doesn't work with the old screens. You have to use our modern screen. What kind of kit is this? It's basically a upgrade for the Game Gear. So the Game Gear that we're taking apart now. Let me just get the back off. I've got a pug that's waiting for me to finish as well. We're getting some smashing likes on TikTok again as well. I've got one user hitting 5,000 likes. So if I open this Game Gear up, this one's no good to us because it's a 1-chip, but you can see this is the prime example. Here is the battery acid leaking. Battery electrolyte leaking, the opposite of acid. So we can't use this one, but yeah, this is the original Game Gear. This is our remade board, and we use it when the original Game Gear boards are too damaged to use. So we put that one down there. We have another one here. Let's see if this is the 2A6. I can probably tell somehow by looking through the plastic if it's a 2A6, but I've never bothered to really see what looks different from the outside to know that. I just open them up. There we go. So we've got another 2A6 here. So this is the ASIC we now want. So let's give this one a go. There's no way we've got 4 in a row bad, he says. Very bad solder quality. On what? This way we need some mods. Tell Rusty to dish out some bones. Oh yeah, he's sitting on my chair right now, but waiting for me, basically. Have I tried flux pens? Yeah, I've tried all kinds of flux and flux pens, and don't rate any of them. The best fluxes I've found were obviously Amtech, Solder King, which we used to sell, now we don't, and then this Styria is by far the best, basically. Evening, welcome in, Doomskilled. I've seen you a few times jump on. We are having no luck at the minute with Game Gears. The last stream I had no luck on Game Gears. But hopefully this 4th VDP that we're installing is going to be the one that works for us. There we go, so that's that off. And now we'll take off this third VDP that we're going to mark as bad, which is quite crazy to believe, but I've only ever had a stream of 3 bad VDPs once before, and I highly doubted. If the 4th one's bad, I'm going to really start suspecting something, and then we probably would want to get a working PCB, which unfortunately I don't have any at the minute. Actually, there might be one behind me from earlier. Yeah, I've got one. Actually got one behind me, I think, so we could, if this one fails, we'll put these VDPs on the working board to prove that they definitely are bad, and then start actually doing what I said, which I've ignored again on this stream, which is taking a working PCB and putting one chip on at a time and giving them a little smiley face or a green tick so we know they're actually good chips. VDP is here, video display processor, basically the thing that makes the graphics for the Game Gear. And you can see how much abuse this whiteboard takes. This is now the 4th chip going on here, and it's still nice and fresh and white. So that's another bad one. Now I think it's maybe time just to clean under here and a bit of fresh solder because of how long it's been, basically. Bridge on the RAM underneath. It's one big ball. It's not a bridge, you can see it there. I saw that, I just didn't bother doing anything about it. I saw it when I was going down, but I have now got a bridge because I've just done that. But yeah, I saw that when we were on the scope, and it was just like a big solder blob. It looks like it's from factory because it's not been, like, it's not lead free. It's not leaded solder rather. So let's clean that, and let's just apply some fresh solder. And yeah, it's a good point because if you have this is the video RAM. Typically when I used to see that graphic error, I was like, it's video RAM, it always used to be that. But because these are assembled at factory and we've seen so many bad VDPs, I don't really check the video RAM, but it's not actually a bad shout because these are still what's called new old stock, where these chips below that the factory source, obviously they don't make them anymore. So these are like stock that's existing in factories in Shenzhen that warehouse and stack loads of chips that have never gone into systems. So they are, as far as you can believe with the Chinese factories telling you that, they're unused, what they call new old stock. But they can be faulty, and that visual graphic can be related to a bad video RAM. It's just that when it's the VDP, when it's the re-PCB rather, we've never had a bad video RAM yet, not once. So again, we're just going off numbers at the minute, but yeah, if this 4th one is bad, then maybe we suspect the video RAM, and also it could be, I always say it, even though these are new manufactured PCBs, this re-PCB could have a fault on it. It could have an internal trace causing that issue. So I think at 4, I'd really start suspecting something else and maybe just starting another board and going from there. So let's give this one a go. Let's all wish it good luck. And then if this fails, we'll just start a brand new one. We'll just start building another board and cycle back basically once we've got one working. Oh yeah, I work some hours. I work all over. Rusty's literally behind me sulking at the minute, so it won't be a long stream. Obviously, it won't settle down now. It's like, ooh, it's 7:30. Yeah, I thought it was about 6 o'clock. So yeah, that's why he's sulking. Stuff in the syringe is flux. It's basically this yellow stuff, and it's what helps the solder stay all nice and shiny and everything flow into place, basically. Right, so that's where we want it. We'll push down, go around to reflow, and this one's sat down nice and easy. This one's behaved. So that's a good reflow. We don't even need to check that one. In one way, I don't want this to work because then we potentially have 4 VDPs that are good and 1 bad re-PCB. Whereas if this works, we've just wasted, well, we haven't wasted, it's just bad luck, but we've lost 4 Game Gears, like £200 worth of stock to get 1 working Game Gear. So in one way, I kind of don't want this to work, but chances are, I'd say this will work, and we literally do just have a lot of bad VDPs. Right, so that's nice and clean. Well, clean enough for what we need it. We've got Sonic in. We can give this a nice little rest. Let's make sure it cools down all the way first. Yeah, getting a jig for the VDPs is 100% going to be one of my top priorities soon at this rate. You can't order VDP chips new, no. I did want to clone them. Like hardware level clone, like take the lid off the VDP and clone it. I have worked with a few factories for the last few weeks, and it's possible, but it's the most difficult way, and it's very expensive, and I don't think we'd ever make a money back doing it. Yeah, we do sell the consoles ready-made as well as fixing things for people. You know a guy in India with hundreds. If he wants to sell them, put me in touch. I've got hundreds, but we get through them within about 6-7 weeks. I've got about, I think I've got 70 behind me in tubs, and we've got through 4 already. So I'll certainly swipe up any stock that's available. What software I'm using to stream this is Streamlabs, which is basically like an OBS. A whole bunch of stuff to make it all work. So we've got Streamlabs for the streaming software. I've got Tickfinity for the TikTok integration. We're using Streamlabs overlays for a lot of the stuff. I've written custom code, so this chat down here only shows up if you're a subscriber. So I've wrote the code to make that happen. I've got a pug at my feet falling everywhere. And then what else is involved? Other than a decent machine and a load of HDMI capture cards and high quality cameras, basically. Right, where do we get with this? We haven't even seen a working Game Gear yet, have we? All right, come on. This has got. If this doesn't work, like I say, it has to be. Yeah, it's still warm, to be honest. It has to be something else. There is no way that we've got 4 bad VDPs if this is still bad. But it will actually be, if it isn't the VDP, it will be the first time ever we've seen that visual on screen and it not be a VDP. That's never yet happened in the hundreds we've done. So it's something interesting. We've either got really bad luck at the minute, or this is just going to work and we just had 3 bad VDPs. So let's go for it. There you go, 3 bad VDPs. So would you believe it? My money was on something serious going wrong, but no, we have bad VDP, bad VDP, bad VDP, working VDP. And we should have audio. There you go. So, and then obviously, this is just a test screen, and I don't know why I've got the protective cover on because it's covered in liquid. I just spray it when I'm cleaning up. So, but yeah, we get that. Turn this over. The buzz you can hear, by the way, on the speaker is because we're not using a proper power board. This is just going straight in through the test port. So we can zoom out a bit there, and you can see there's the water damage. This nice liquid patch here. We could probably dry it out, take the back off, but it's a test screen. I'm going to end up soaking it anyway. But yeah, can you hear that high-pitched hum in a second? So hear that buzz. That's just because these ports on here that I put on, this USB and this audio port, are just because it's for testing, basically a cheap test. So you don't have to waste your time soldering on power and audio ribbons as well. Oh, thank you for the donation. Very much appreciated. I'll get Rusty a treat for that. Oh yeah, bad caps on a Game Gear. This is a new board, so these are, you can see on my board, we've got new caps and not many. Yeah, if you're doing an original, the first thing we do on all of them is recap them. But yeah, this board won't have that issue because it's one I've made and all that. Everything on here is new except these 3 chips. So yeah, that noise you heard on the board is because instead of having to solder these 2 on, then the problem with this is you'd then have these 2 cables that could be bad as another variable for a problem. You've got your power board, which might be bad, which is another variable. If you don't hear audio, you've got your audio board, which, do I even have one out? I should have one somewhere, but I don't have one anywhere I can see. Basically, the audio board could be faulty as well. There he is. So you imagine on any other board except the RePCB, if this didn't work, you could be dealing with this ribbon being bad, this ribbon being bad, this board or speaker being bad, this power board being bad, the original cartridge connector being bad. So by having a connectable cartridge slot, having a USB power board and a headphone jack, you're eliminating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible other things that could go wrong. And the only real thing that can be wrong when you fit these 3 chips is these 3 chips. That's why I was so confident to keep swapping them chips. Although, to be honest, my confidence was starting to really run out on that 4th one. That's the longest streak we've gone with bad VDPs. So to get rid of that audio bus, the reason you get the audio bus, I keep going around in circles, is because when you plug this in, it's just purely a quick debug port on this USB. It's not regulated. So any noise on this USB, which there is, just goes straight through to the audio. That won't happen when you fit this in, basically when you fit the proper ribbons. So I'll fit the ribbons, but then after that, I'm going to go to this little sulky pug right down here under my feet. That as soon as I move, oh, camera's flipping upside down. He's just waiting for me, just hovering around the chair. He's hiding behind the chair now. And then he'll go and sit back down. This is his, come on, Dad, finish work, it's too late. So I've got a really miserable pug. Look at that face. Sulky little pug. He'll be all happy as soon as I move. So let's wrap this one up. I didn't realise how late it was, and I'm going to spend some time with Rusty. So I'll just get these ribbons on and show you the audio working fine without noise when you put these ribbons on. So again, I've made these ribbons. Pretty much like I say, everything you see here is something I've designed and made. So even these ribbons I've remade. They're not something I just buy from China. I've actually had them made for me and designed by me. And a lot of people just presume, because most companies do that, that stuff you sell is just stuff you found online and brought, whereas the stuff we sell, like very few things aren't actually made by us. I think we sell a couple of things that aren't actually ours, but it won't say our brand name on it if it's, not made by us. So that is the power cable, so we can power it from Clean Power, which was actually the name of one of my products. We've got now the power core for Game Gear, which is the cheapest power board you can buy. So a brand new power board, but without wasting your money, or without having to spend your money on higher quality stuff. So now we've got those two on and we know this system works. We don't need the temporary speaker. We can use the power core, which is, again, one of the latest boards I've designed. This replaces the batteries here, AA batteries, and instead of the old DC jack, you can now use that USB cable here. So we plug the USB cable in. We should be able to power the system on with that now. And there we go. So if we turn that off and in, we can now plug the audio in to the clean amp and turn on, and that noise should be gone now. So there you go. So if I turn off and on, hold the speaker, because the speaker won't be as loud as the the one I've inserted, you can hear now there's no audio noise. So that's clean, and then that goes in. Yeah, he's literally, yeah, he's going to knock over all my equipment in a minute if I don't go. But that is that all up and running. So we have, we built one. Look at the expectations I came with. Look at that pile. I was like, yeah, we'll get these done. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was going to build 12. And what did we do? We built 1 4 times over. So I'm going to say we built 4, but technically we've built 1. But at least 1's working, so that's better than nothing. And then that is built, basically. Can I finish it? It is finished, but I'll put it in a shell. These aren't ones that I'm building at the minute that are going in shells. So these ones are people that have brought this re-PCB. So you can buy just this re-PCB fully assembled, so you have a working Game Gear. That's what I'm building here. So these are for customers that have brought. If I take the bits off now, that. Take this off, but they can buy it separate. That goes, and the clean screen goes. So what they've done, that's saved the desk as well, made it clean. That's what you buy when you're buying a re-PCB. So I'll clean this as well, so it's all spotless. Let's see how dirty we are. Oh yeah, we've left some flux on that board. It's like a murder scene. So, so it looks clean. So if you look over the top, it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't look too bad. You can see a little bit, you know, like on here. Oh, there's a little bit. You put this over, and you're like, no, you've left shit everywhere. Like, look, clean, not clean, clean, not clean at all. So yeah, I'll give these boards a clean obviously before they go. But this is what customers buy as well. So they can now get this, know it's a fully working Game Gear, and chuck it in whatever shell they want and use whatever screen. If they don't want to use a clean screen, you can retrofit other cheaper screens. But they'll probably also buy, most people end up buying the clean screen, the cart connector, the power core, the new power core, or the clean juice, and clean amps. So they basically buy all the stuff and build a Prestige themselves. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll just wrap up some questions, and then I'm going to chill with Rusty, maybe play some Resident Evil 2. And that was the same record as the worst one we've had. I've never had to swap more than the 4th VDP. We were almost onto a new record then of bad chips. The service, I think service for Game Gear is £40. The re-PCB is a lot because the work involved, but it's all on Retro 6. In the send and service page, you can select what you want, basically. And obviously you can just buy it as well. Yeah, all this flux had come off with IPA, and I wouldn't use the sponge to clear off the final bits, but let's say I'd get this bamboo cloth, I'd soak the bamboo cloth in IPA, I'd use hot air to warm up the board slightly, because flux comes off better with warmth. We can then hold this over once we see, so see how that's all shiny. Give this a little warm, like that, say, and you can just watch it be wiped off live. So, say down here, you see all that. Just get the cloth with IPA, move over to like here, say all this blue, just wipes off, all this above, wipes off. So you can see you can just go around with a cloth and IPA and pretty much wipe it all off. You won't get like under the chips. So like see under here, you won't get under there easily, but that's why if you dishwasher them or ultrasonic clean them, you'll get rid of all of that, you know, that's technically under there. So like the top of these chips, just spray, wipe with the cloth. And there we go. So yeah, the final clean will be spotless, basically. look at this. Can we see? Oh, yeah. It's like, come on, finish. Oh, he's tired. Oh, dear. Single ASIC boards are in mass production. They have been for weeks. I'll probably have them. It will definitely have them in November. I'm hoping they ship in a few days. Like, it's probably going to be a few weeks, but I'm hoping a few days. We're not far off now. Another Pokemon stream, that probably won't be far off. I've still got an Amiga to build, a Neo Geo to build, and a PS1 to build, though, as well. Yeah, Resi 2. I've played the original Resi 2. I'm currently playing the remade Resi 2 on the Ally X with some VR head glasses, and I'm loving it. Email on Tuesday. I don't think I've got any emails. 1 second. What's your name? I'll just quickly open it up. Don't think I've got anything going back to Tuesday. Oh, I have. Oh, is it a... I've got a PC Engine GT I haven't replied to yet, just because I need the time to reply. And then, no, everything else is today. So the only thing I've not replied to on Tuesday is one about a PC Engine GT. If that's you, I've got the email. I haven't replied to it just yet, though. Let me check on the other side of chat. The price, these are on the website. They vary all sorts. Depends what you want. So you can have just the VPCB on its own, 28 quid. You can buy a fully built one, what I've just built with all the chips on, so an actual Game Gear built on for like 120, I think it is. So you're buying effectively a fully working Game Gear, but no shell. Then you can build the whole consoles. There's some on sale at the minute on the homepage. There's 2 left, I think it is, in clear for 170 or 180. And then you can buy the whole whacking maxed out one for like 250, 300. The VR, I'm using the X-Real Airs or something. Look at that, he's resting on the box. He's trying to rest on my box. That is crazy. Is that the chair in the way? Yeah, watch, I'll move slightly and he'll jump up. Look, he's already feeling the movement of the chair. He's getting ready to move. But he's trying to rest on a cardboard box there. I think that's me. I don't even know what's in the way. That's the table in the way. Oh, yeah. Or is it that? No. Definitely got. What's in the way of Rusty's head? Light, maybe? Nope. I've got no... Oh, it's the actual camera itself. He's got his chin on the cardboard box. Yeah, so I've got the... getting distracted by Rusty now. I've got the X-Real Airs, and I've just brought the Virtua The Beast that's coming in December. So I've pre-ordered them. They look quite cool. Any recommendations on a good microscope? Any from Amscope, so AM Scope. They're all good, basically. Yeah, I work from home, and we have units for online orders, and I have a few businesses, but I try to work from home as much as I can. It's better, basically. Right, so that will be it, I think. Otherwise, more questions are going to keep coming in. So I'm going to move the chair so Rusty moves. There we go. He knows we're going now. I'm going to spend some time with this little furball. And I will catch you guys. Oh, look how excited he is that we're going. Slipping all over. Like, come on, let's go. Yes, I'm coming. Say bye. Hey, come on then. He's off. Right then, I'll catch you guys tomorrow.